Lieutenant General Robert Stephenson Smith Baden-Powell, first Baron Baden-Powell, started scouting in England in 1907. Yesterday would have been his 169th birthday, and this year is the 116th birthday of scouting in the U.S. In scouting, we tell a story about how scouting got started in America that goes like this. One day in 1909, over 100 years ago, an American was visiting London, England. In those days, it was a very industrial city, polluted by the many factories and smokestacks, and there were very frequent dense fogs over the city. The name of the visitor was William D. Boyce, a Chicago businessman, and on his way to an appointment, he became totally lost in the fog. He must have looked really disoriented because a boy approached him and asked if he needed help.
"You certainly can," said Royce. He told the boy of a certain office in the city center that he was trying to find. "I'll take you there," said the boy. When they got there, Mr. Boyce reached in his pocket for the money to give to the boy a tip for his trouble, but the boy stopped him. "No, thank you, sir. I'm a scout." "I will not take anything for helping you." "A scout? What is that?" asked Mr. Boyce. The boy told Mr. Boyce about himself and his brother scouts. Mr. Boyce became very interested, and after he had conducted his business, he had the boy take him to the British Scouting Office. There he met Robert Baden-Powell, the military hero who had started scouting in England. He was so impressed with what he had learned, he decided to bring scouting home to America with him. On February 8, 1910, the Boy Scouts of America was incorporated under a charter granted by the U.S. government, and from then on, Scouts have always celebrated the birthday of scouting in February.
Would the audience please rise for the presentation of the colors? Your color guard prepared to present the colors. Scouts and Scout leaders in uniform, please salute. Color guard advance. Color guard home. Color guard post the colors. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard retreat.
Now the Chunky Monkeys are gonna come present the merit badges that were earned.
Merit badges are awards earned by members of the Boy Scouts of America, based on activities within an area of study by completing a list of periodically updated requirements. Each merit badge has its own requirements that have to be completed.
The purpose of Merit Badges program is to allow Scouts to examine subjects to determine if they would like to further pursue them as a career or vocation. Originally, the program also introduced Scouts to the life skills of contracting an adult they had not met before, arranging a meeting, and demonstrating their skills like a job or college interview. Evan Friesen has completed Communication Merit Badge, and Cam Fuller has completed Family Life Merit Badge.
The following Scouts attended Scout Sunday services and earned a participation patch for their effort. Evan Friesen, Cole Gatton, Nolan Giddings, Caden Gatton, and Orion Plant. Please be seated. That concludes our advancement ceremonies for this evening. Thank you.
Now I think Heather's going to come talk about summer camp this summer.
I'm going to do things a little bit backwards this time. First thing I would like to let you know about is the Galena outing. If you opened your email in the last couple of days, you will see 2 permission slips. One is for the March outing, which is to Red Rock Lake, which is south of Des Moines. And the second one is to Galena, Illinois. The Galena event is one that we participate in every other year, not every year. And it is a regional event for Scouts that is held in Galena, and this year is their 200th, I think, birthday. And they're celebrating that with a special events this year that they're adding to their normal program. It is an expensive outing, and we recognize that, partly because we have to pay a participation fee, as well as regular camping, and we will be eating most of our meals on the road or in restaurants, which makes it a little more expensive than normal. There's a separate fee for adults who are driving and will be reimbursed for the gas that they use on the trip. But the Scouts have to pay the $110 fee for the event. Galena's about 3.5 hours away, east of Dubuque, Iowa, and we will be camping outside of Dubuque and traveling into Galena on Saturday. A Class A uniform, which is the khaki shirts with your long green pants, is mandatory for Saturday. The boys have not yet decided, because they haven't been asked, if they want to participate in the parade. And if they choose to do that, that will be it will be in uniform, because everybody who is there in town will also be in uniform. So it's a thing that you get recognized for by the people of Galena, who put on a tremendously involved program. It is a very busy program for the people that come for the weekend. If you don't know, Ulysses Sam Grant, who was part of the Civil War, he was the general for the Union side of the Civil War. His wife was from Galena, and his father-in-law owned a shoe factory in Galena. And for a little while, Sam Grant worked for his father-in-law, but he was primarily a military man, and that was his future, and then he became president after the war was over. So there's a lot of history that goes with that, and this town has been preserved. If you've never been there, even as a family, it's a really fun place to go for the weekend. And there's lots of things to see and do, and we will do a lot of those things. There's a Civil War reenactment in the park, along with a lot of booths. They can do all kinds of activities, as well as the parade, and a lot of them will go through all the shops on Main Street, looking at different things that are for sale there, as well as a nice lunch. They get part of their feedback in cash to have lunch wherever they choose to have it in town. That is what the plan is, and it is the last weekend in April. Because of the distance, we will be leaving at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So for adults going, that may mean taking Friday afternoon off work, or leaving early in order to be ready and packed to go at 4 on Friday afternoon. And then Sunday we'll be back about 1:30-ish, I'm guessing. Is there any questions about that? I don't like to put out 2 permission slips at the same time because it gets a little bit confusing. But if you didn't get one, there are some on the back table. I know we have a Webelos here tonight who's hoping to join the troop. If you might need to go over and get one off the table, and be sure and give me your email address so you get mail from us. The other thing I want to talk about tonight, before I get to summer camp, is this. Everybody tonight should have gotten their health form. And I'd like to say they've updated it. They have not. They've added a nasty little box. Usually I do this in a PowerPoint, and because all of you, with the exception of our new Webelos, have done this before, I'd like to say I trust you to do it right this time. The average, I turn back about 50% of the forms that get turned in because they're not signed correctly. So if you looked at page A, you will see a box in the right column with an exclamation point, and underneath there is a tiny box that said list participant restrictions, if any. And all of you need to list none. Make sure you check that box none. Do not check the box above that box, 3 boxes in a row, because if you do that, then your child can't participate in any kind of rifle, shotgun, archery activities. So you don't want to check that box, just the one that's under the little blue box that has the exclamation point. Who signs it? The participant is the person whose name is at the top of the form. So in most cases, but not exclusively, that is the scout. And if it's a scout, then the parent signs underneath. A lot of times we'll have the parent sign, but no scout signature. Your form comes back to you. I already typed into your form that for drivers, all approved Troop 44 drivers, that's what should be there. Do not try and put your own name there unless you wish to drive on every single activity. That's easy to do, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. Then you have B1 and B2. B1 at the top has general information. I'll get to it. So you fill that out, name, address, date of birth, height, weight, etc., etc. B1 and B2 are forms that parents fill out. Doesn't have to go to the doctor for this, but A, B1 and B2 are required for all activities, not just summer camp, for all activities. And we have to do this every year, and I know it gets old. Believe me, I know it gets old. When it asks you for emergency information, do not list yourselves. As parents, we have your name and address and phone number, and probably your email as well. Put somebody down there who it could be responsible if there is a circumstance that we can't get a hold of you. We had a circumstance several years ago where a young man broke his wrist or ankle, one or the other, and we could not get a hold of the parents. The hospital will not do treatment unless we get permission from someone else, someone in the family, a neighbor, someone on this form who you've referred to, saying that you give them permission to make a decision. That's very important. It can be grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, it can be a neighbor, friend, whomever. Just don't put your own name down under emergency contacts. We will always call you first, always. But if we can't get a hold of you, and we've had circumstances where we're at camp and the parents are off on vacation somewhere. Okay, we can't get a hold of you, we're going to need to get a hold of somebody. So make sure you fill that, and also please put your current health insurance information on that. And if you have a new provider, if your provider has changed in the last year, please make sure that you give us a copy of the front and the back of your insurance card. If your provider is still the same as it was this time last year, I probably already have a copy of that. The same with your immunization sheets. If I have a copy from last year, which I have for almost everybody, you don't need to give me a new one unless they've had additional shots. So you can always ask me, I can look it up and tell you if you're not sure if I have them or not. That we can sort out. Then on B2, about halfway down the sheet, there is another little box. In fact, there's 2 little boxes, and it says, although I can't read it, non-prescription medication administration is authorized with these exceptions. That is something you need to sign if you permit us to give over-the-counter drugs to your child, things like Tylenol, Pepto-Bismol, things that you can buy across the shelf, which are in our first aid kit, you need to sign that line in order to authorize us to do that. That is all you need to provide for outings, just normal weekend outings. But for summer camp, you do need to have a physical, and you have to have one every year. This physical has to be within 12 months of the time we're at camp. I gave you a form, I didn't fill anything out, it automatically prints the name on the top of the sheet. But this is the piece that is filled out by the doctor or the nurse or whoever's giving the physical. That has to be done for camp. It will have to be done in the future for high adventure. Some of you have been to Boundary Waters, you know what that means. We do not have to fill out the piece that is the risk assessment if they're just going to regular summer camp. Any questions about this? Okay, so I can expect to get forms from all of you that are correctly filled out. Yes, fabulous, wonderful, I appreciate it. All right, summer camp. We are going to Tomahawk. We were at Tomahawk 3 years ago. Tomahawk is on the southwest edge of Lake Superior, in an area that is very, very similar to Boundary Waters. So those of you who've been to Boundary Waters and haven't been to Tomahawk, it is very similar in scenery. We were very fortunate the last time we went to get a campsite that literally they looked out the back of their tent and here was the lakes. And there are 2 big lakes right there on camp property, and they do a lot of water activities that are related to scouting and to having the ability to be out on the lakes. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It is about a 7-hour drive, so it's a long way. It is in Wisconsin, just over the Minnesota border, in the middle of nowhere. What they take to camp is what they've got at camp, because there's nowhere to go and get extra supplies. There's a lot of little villages around there, but not much for a big town. There also isn't much for cell phone service either. It is literally out in the sticks, but it is a beautiful place to go. They have bears, and you will, all the people going to camp will have bear training. They're black bears, not grizzlies. They're cute bears, but they're not really cute. And they keep everything that is what we consider smellable, and Chuck can go into what is considered smellable, but toothpaste and deodorant and all kinds of things, they will need a shoebox to put those things in, and that goes into basically what is a commercial freezer each day so that the bears can't access it, because they are attracted by the smells of those things. You can't bring food, you can't have candy from the trading post or food from the dining hall in the campsite. That's an absolute no-no. And we'll go over all that with the bear training. At this point in time, we do not know exactly how much it's going to cost. We know that 3 years ago, it was $425. So we're looking at probably close to $500 for the week of camp. The only reason we haven't decided is that the last committee meeting was at the beginning of the month. We did not have the pricing information at that time. We've only just received it, and we need to communicate that to all the members of the committee to make a decision on how much we are going to charge for camp. Because unfortunately for you, camp is not just a matter of paying a fee at camp. It also involves the amount of gas we expend getting up there, certain supplies that we have to have, meals going up or coming back, t-shirts, and little extra things that go with going to camp. So that's why I'm saying, I'm guessing it's going to be around $500. Now, it is not that expensive for the adults. The adults' camp fee is $150. And again, the committee will have to decide what they're going to charge. The other group that has some say in that is the FOS group, the Johnston Troop 44 and Pack 244 Friends of Scouting. In the past, they have given a $60 scholarship to each scout, and I believe last year they gave $100 to each adult going to camp. Evan's giving me the thumbs up. They too will have to get together online and make a decision about how much they're going to provide as a scholarship. And I do want to thank you. Some of you, as parents, families, have donated to that organization. We are a 501c3, so tax exempt, and we are very lucky to have some very generous donors who make that possible. It takes a great deal to raise any kind of money. I will tell you that my grandson applied for a grant and got it. It is for $1.9 million, and they are restoring a steam engine in Sioux City. And he may be transferred to Denver, and they're not sure what they're going to do without it. But it takes a lot to raise money. It really does take a lot of work. And we're working on it so that we can support both the pack and the troop in whatever manner we can. And we appreciate what some of you do to help with that. Are there any questions about summer camp? All of you, except our new scout, have been to camp before. This camp is a little different in that they do merit badge work in the morning and they do activities in the afternoon, and the boys will choose as a group what they do in the afternoons because everybody does the same thing. And that list will come out on March 7th, so I'll get it out to you as fast as I can. They do have some different merit badges than they did the last time you went, but again, we won't know for sure what those are going to be until March 7th. If you would like to pay half of your fee today, I would say half is safely going to be about $250 for first payment, and then we'll apply any discounts to the second payment. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, I'm getting a lot of nods. Okay. Okay. We'd like to see every scout go to camp. It's later because the weather is cooler up in that part of the woods, and they don't start camp. We are going on the first week of camp. So the 21st of June is when we go, and it will be the first week of camp for them. Okay. I don't have anything else. Caitlin, wherever you are.
Heather, when do you need the phone?
Soon as possible. You can turn in A, B1, and B2 at any time, at any meeting. C, you don't have to turn in right away, but I will encourage you for physicals to get those programmed pretty early because doctors get really busy. What? Sorry, you didn't hear that? You can turn in A, B1, and B2 as soon as possible. C doesn't come until I really need it by the 1st of June, but make sure you get your appointments in because doctors get very busy in the early summer. Thank you.
All right, now Chuck Jordal is going to come talk about Philmont.
I'm going to move this over here so the scouts can see it. Okay, my name's Chuck, and one of the things I do in Scouts is arrange trips to the Philmont Scout Ranch. Those are, we have 2 or 3 scouts here, Caden and Sam, have both been to Philmont. Evan Freese, you guys know him. And I think there were 3 or 4 scouts that have graduated from the troop that went last time. What do you guys know about Philmont? What has Caden and Sam told you? Anything? Nothing? It's a scout ranch, okay? You know where it is? New Mexico. All right? This is actually the Philmont property. This is clear up in the northeast corner of New Mexico in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, which is the southern tip of the Rocky Mountains. That range comes right down through the middle of Philmont. How many of you are familiar with Camp Dodge? Okay, it's a pretty good sized piece of property, right? Starts at about 70th Street, probably goes all the way to Mile Long Bridge, and maybe from Beaver all the way to 141. Is that pretty close? Okay. 4,300 acres, I think, is what I found online, the size of Camp Dodge. Philmont is 33 times that size. It's mountains. Everywhere you go in the ranch, it's mountains. Mountains. Base camp, which is clear down here in the corner, starts at 6,500 feet. You go there overnight, right? You traveled by train the last time. We're going to continue to travel by train because it's pretty darn nice. 6,500 feet, from there you go up. The highest peak on the ranch is 12,441 feet. We almost doubled in elevation. The program down there is basically backpacking, trekking around the mountains. Lots of crews. They have 30, for this year, they have 34 different itineraries. They go south, some go north, some go clear up here into the Carson National Forest. There's a lot of adjacent land around the border of Philmont that belongs to some of the local ranches. They let us use that land as well. So altogether, it's about 140,000 acres. So what do you do while you're hiking around in the mountains? Yes, sir?
Climb mountains.
You climb mountains. I'll guarantee you you'll be climbing some mountains. What was your favorite thing, Tim?
Probably the mine tour.
Mine tour? Okay. They offer a whole lot of programs. This is a very interesting part of New Mexico. It was mined for gold back around the turn of the century. In fact, they were still mining up to 1940. Obviously, in New Mexico, ranching was a big operation. Timber was very readily available because of mining. They were building railroads to get materials out of the mountains. This was the biggest mine up in this area, Baldy Mountain. There was another one down here. A couple of pretty decent. They were productive enough that they could build some pretty elaborate stamping mills to harvest the gold. Let's see. So, some other things. You like the mine tour. How about you, Dave? Baldy. Okay? View from on top of Baldy. You can see it's clear into Colorado. Is it clear today we're up there? Yeah. Okay. Those Twin Peaks to the north, those are about 100 miles away. And you can see that one. Don't always get up there on a clear day, so you guys are lucky. But some other activities. Archaeology. Lots of Indian groups use this area, particularly up in this canyon right here. There are actually some petroglyphs where the Indians actually stamped symbols into the rock. Rock climbing is a very common activity down there. Challenge events. You guys have been to various summer camps. You probably participated in some challenge courses over the years. Okay. Some of them are pretty kind of not so much physical as thinking, but definitely both. Conservation activities, part of it because of the railroads, some of the activities involve logging, and as you can see, what's green on the map here? What's green on the map here? Yeah.
Green forest.
Okay. What's else? Okay, forest. Well, let's go with forest. What about the forest?
Not burned down.
Good point. Basically, anything that's green is at least 6 feet tall. That's kind of a standard on almost all maps. Notice down in here, there's a little green. There's some meadows up in here that are just hardly any timber at all. That's where they're grazing cattle and so forth. I'm kind of wandering around here a little bit, but have any of you heard about this right here? Anybody know what that is? Yeah.
The forest fire.
That's right. There was a forest fire in 2018, 8 years ago now. Burned 37,000 acres in less than 24 hours. It really interrupted the operation of the ranch for a while, but they are gradually starting to use it again. It's bouncing back quite nicely, but it will be another 60 years before it will be what it used to be. In 27, as we do every year, we are opening this up to scouts from all over the council. We do a council contingent. Lots of troops go on their own. Troop 44 has gone on their own in the past. Over the last several times, you guys have joined us on the council contingent. We travel down to the ranch by train. We get on the train at Fort Madison, Iowa. We get off at Raton, New Mexico. And Philmont has a bus to take us to the ranch. I'm going to give us, I think we're probably running out of time, aren't we, Heather? How about you, Kate? Are we running out of time? Okay. Well, I don't want to bore anybody, but you guys have any questions? Anything about Philmont? Yeah. Are there mileage patches? No. You get a patch very similar to this one, which indicates you've done generally at least 50 miles. Okay? Remember how long yours was? Generally speaking, they range anywhere from about 50 miles up to about 90 miles. And those are just as they are the published number. Quite often you actually hike further than that. Yes? Well, you're leaving yourself on their trails. You are using established trails. They don't want you to, they want to know where you are every day. Your crew, when you get into your camp, basically check in, and Philmont always knows where you are within a couple of miles. Everybody goes to an established camp on their itinerary each evening, and so if there's a problem, or if you are in between camps and there's a problem, Philmont can get help to you in a very short order. Other questions? Parents, questions?
What's the most difficult part of the trip?
What's the most difficult part of the trip, guys?
Walking uphill.
I would say hiking. Everybody is, there is no troop trailer. There's nobody to move the gear around for you. You're carrying everything you need for the duration of the trip. With the exception of food, you are picking up food periodically through the, we do what's called a 12-day trek. We go down, we'll leave Iowa on a Saturday, and we will return 2 weeks later on a Sunday. So that includes the travel time. We're actually at the ranch for 12 days. We'll spend 1 day in base camp, kind of getting acclimated, and the next 10 days out in the backcountry. 1 more day in base camp, and we're coming home. Brian, you've been there. What are your thoughts? I thought you went with Tim years ago.
No, my son chose boundary waters.
Ah, okay. Russ, I know you've been there.
The great fact was that is real weird because kids didn't get above 50 and it rained a lot over there. Usually it's like in the 70s. We crossed the creek 43 times in one day. It was great.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are trails all over the ranch. You're going basically, you're hiking anywhere from 5 to 7 miles a day generally between various stopping points. There are opportunities to fish. There are opportunities to participate in shooting sports, things like that. They offer a number of shooting sports, pistols, shotguns, black powder, 30-06, lots of different opportunities to shoot at targets. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. It's been a little more prepared. You can see that it's a pretty unique piece of property. The Boy Scouts were given this piece of property back in 1938. Actually, the donor actually gave us a little chunk right in here, about 10,000 acres. The gentleman's name was Wade Phillips. You've probably heard of the Phillips Petroleum Company, sold 66. That was not him. He had his own company. Anyway, he purchased this property in about 1925. In 1938, he gave us about 10,000 acres, and he watched to see what the Scouts would do with it. And over those 3 years, he was so impressed that he gave them the whole thing. It's a pretty magnificent gift, quite honestly. Very unusual piece of property. I think this arm over here was probably the only thing that was not part of his donation at the time. This has been purchased almost 60 years ago. So, other questions? I had the pleasure of talking to Cam's dad a few minutes ago, and he said Cam doesn't usually talk a whole lot, but when he got off the train, jumped in the car to come home, he said Cam didn't stop talking for almost 45 minutes, telling him about all the stuff that they had done. Am I embarrassing you? Okay. Anyway, until he fell asleep. After the long trip, he was beat. I think we were all beat. And, but that's a very similar experience. Philmont impresses on their staff. By the way, the staff that operates the ranch during the summer is almost 1,100 people. They have about 80 full-time staff down there, but the rest of that staff comes in just for the summer, and it's an incredible operation. It runs from about the first week in June. The 8th of June, I think, is their official opening date every single year, and they run through about the 8th of August. During those 2 months, that 2-month window, they'll see anywhere from 17 to 21,000 scouts go through there on average. The year that Russ went, 2021, they had 26,000 scouts go through, largely because of the fire postponed a lot of groups from going down, including you guys, if I recall. I'm kind of running running out of things to say, which is kind of amazing, because I think that this is the most amazing thing I've ever participated in. Philmont, my first trip to Philmont was in 1975, 76, excuse me, 50 years ago this year. And I can honestly say that this piece of property is in better shape today than it was then. They have really taken care of this property. They've learned how to manage it. With that many scouts coming in and impacting the area for 2 months during the summer of every year, it's incredible how the land has stood up against that. It's a very well managed operation. The Boy Scouts have outdone themselves on that. Sometimes they are a little disappointed with some of the other things they do, but their high adventure bases are top notch. So, would there be any other questions from parents?
How old do you have to be?
Excellent question, thank you. That's a pretty important one that I probably should have brought up. You need to be at least 14 by January 1st of the year you go, or if you complete the 8th grade in the year that you go. So there's a little catch there. You can go, there is no age limit. They still let me go, which is amazing. As scouts, all the way up to age 20 without issue. After that, you become an adult and you go as an adult. The fee varies from year to year, usually going up, just like everything else. I think the price that we have put on this summer's expedition is $2,250. That includes everything. You can leave here with your gear, and we've got everything covered from the time you leave Des Moines until you come back. It sounds like a lot of money to me, because the first couple of years I went, the adults could go for free, and that hasn't happened for a long time. Then I hear about some of the music programs and things like that that are in the school systems that are pretty pricey for a much shorter period of time. So I guess if there aren't any questions, we are signing scouts up for 27 right now. You guys want to go again? You're going to be 18 this November? Yeah. What, about a year behind? Yeah. So, you still go? All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to share. I'm going to leave some paperwork with Heather, and she will have it. Heather and whoever Heather designates to be the contact person for the troop. But we would be happy to have some scouts. I think the last time that I called Heather, which is the year you guys went, said, "Do you have any scouts that are interested?" She said, "Well, I don't think so." And before I knew it, there were 7. So that might be the case again. I don't know. But the advantage of the council contingent, I should have said this too. Crew sizes, we go down as crews. The council contingent, the year you guys went, we took 3 crews. Last summer, we only had 1 crew. This summer, we're looking at 2 crews right now. We're hoping to have more. We actually have a reservation for up to 5 crews. But we make up crews from all over the council. It could be 2 or 3 scouts from Troop 44, and we'll put them in with some scouts from another troop until we have a crew of at least 8 people. This is open to adults as well. Every crew has to have at least 3 adults to make sure that we've got 2 deep leadership no matter what happens. And it's I think I'll stop right there. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here.
All right, Brian's gonna talk for a minute now.
Better hurry.
So, like usual, stay up and stay and help clean up afterwards. But don't let the amount for Philmont worry you, because if your boy sells greenery starting in August, that will help offset scouting expenses. You know, how much did you make last year? Yeah, so he paid, if he went to Philmont now, he'd pay for half of his trip. So greenery is a great way for you guys to pay for all your scouting expenses. Philmont, Eagle Scout Project, all sorts of things. So don't let that bother you. Just make sure that they sell greenery starting in August. So anyway, we do have some outings coming up. We can use some help. Appreciate all the help that we got so far, but we could always use more. Some people are unable to because they're busy, stuff like that. We understand that. Just reach out and help. And then we're going to be at a blue and gold banquet on Saturday to welcome a new scout into our troop. So, Rowan, we look forward to working with you and your dad in the future. So, welcome aboard. And you guys have a great rest of the spring. And hopefully we get a couple more snows, don't you think? The end of March would be a great snowstorm. Polar bear points, everything else. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, thank you.
The box turtles are gonna lead us in closing.
Lord Robert Baden-Powell, founder of Scouting and the World Chief Scout, died in Kenya on January 8, 1941, at the age of 83. Soldiers and scouts escorted the coffin to a simple grave at Naira, within the site of Mount Kenya. This message to all scouts was found among his papers after he died.
Dear Scouts, if you've ever seen the play Peter Pan, you remember how the pirate chief was always making his dying speech because he was afraid that possibly when the time came for him to die, he might not have time to get it off his chest. It is much the same with me, and so, although I am not at this moment dying, I shall be doing so one of these days, and I want to send you a parting word of goodbye. Remember, it is the last you will ever hear from me, so think it over. I've had a happy life. Now each one of you to have a happy life as well. I believe that God put us in this jolly world to be happy and enjoy life. Happiness doesn't come from being rich, nor merely from being successful in your career, nor by self-indulgence. One step towards happiness is to make yourself healthy and strong while you're a boy, so that you can be useful and so can enjoy life when you're a man. Nature study will show you how full of beautiful and wonderful things God has made the world for you to enjoy. Be contented with what you have got and make the best of it. Look on the bright side of things instead of the gloomy one. But the real way to get happiness is by giving out happiness to other people. Try and leave this world a little better than you found it, and when your turn comes to die, you can die happy and feeling that at any rate you have not wasted your time but have done your best. Be prepared in this way to live happy and to die happy. Stick to your Scout promise always, even after you've ceased to be a boy, and God help you to do it. Your friend, Baden Powell.
Audience, please rise. Scout salute. Put your right hand over your heart if you are not wounded. Guard, retrieve the colors. Guard, retrieve. Do.
All right. Thanks everyone for coming tonight, and if you could stay and help clean up, that'd be appreciated.